Hey everyone, today we're focusing on subject-verb agreement. What is it? Subject-verb agreement focuses on making sure a sentence is grammatically correct when matching up the subject and verb. The basic definition is a singular subject gets a singular verb and a plural subject gets a plural verb. There are three principles that can compete with each other on how to properly match up the subject and verb. The first principle is formal agreement, in which the singular subject gets a singular verb and the plural subject gets a plural verb. In the example, the list is on the desk. The singular subject list gets a singular verb is. However, not all subjects are as clear, and you need to rely on the second principle. The next principle is notional concord, which is selecting the verb that matches the meaning, not the overt grammatical form. Let's look at an example. Politics is a risky business versus politics are a risky business. While politics is plural, we use is the singular verb because politics represents a singular collective idea, so use the singular verb rather than a plural. The third principle is attraction or proximity. This is when the verb takes the form of the closest subject. Although the principle of attraction passes in speech, in print it will be considered grammatically incorrect. Let's look at an example. Sentence 1 reads, "The cost of the groceries vary." The subject of the sentence is the noun phrase, the cost of groceries. But instead of agreeing with the principal noun cost, the verb vary is attracted to groceries. In order to correct this, we would need to change the verb. So you would say the cost of the groceries varies. Here, the verb varies is now agreeing with the main subject, cost. Everyone knows that a singular noun requires a singular verb. But what happens when there are pairs of singular nouns used in a sentence? Pairs of singular nouns are often joined by, as well as, or and. Let's begin with the phrase as well as. Typically, singular nouns joined by as well as require a singular verb because this phrase modifies the earlier word. Let's look at an example. The girl, as well as her sister, is grounded. Here we have a pair of singular nouns, the girl and her sister, joined by the phrase as well as, and we use the singular verb is. However, notice how the phrase is marked off by commas. Typically, if the phrase isn't marked off by commas, the plural verb is used, as in this example. The girl as well as her sister are grounded. Some advice is to use whichever sounds best and punctuate accordingly. Singular nouns could also be joined by and. Typically, this requires a plural verb. Let's look at an example. Here we have the girl and her sister are grounded. We have the singular noun girl and singular noun sister joined by and so we use the plural verb are. There are two exceptions to this rule. The first is with appositive nouns. Appositive nouns are nouns or noun phrases that rename another noun right beside it. Let's look at this sentence. My dog, a toy poodle, is the best dog in the world. Here, dog is the noun, toy poodle is the appositive noun, and thus we use the singular verb is. Appositive nouns joined by and are also treated as singular. Let's look at this example. Such an injustice and inequity is intolerable. Here you have the appositive nouns joined by and thus the singular verb is used. The second exception to the and principle is collective idea, where nouns joined by and to form a collective idea is treated as a singular. For example, spaghetti and meatballs is her favorite dish. In this sentence, spaghetti and meatballs is the collective idea, so we use the singular verb is. Now let's move on to how to handle plural nouns in regards to subject-verb agreement. We'll examine three concepts. 1. Collecting noun phrases. 2. Collective idea. and 3 collective noun. The first concept with plural nouns is known as collecting noun phrases. A collecting noun refers to nouns, which are people, places, things, or ideas, in their plural form. For example, boys, students, keys, etc. A collecting noun phrase just uses those nouns except in a phrase, obviously, like a group of boys, some of the students, a set of keys. Collecting noun phrases typically take a plural verb, such as the example, a group of students are working on a project. However, if the collecting noun as a whole, rather than the individual people or items collected, impose the main idea, then a singular verb is required. Let's look at a comparison. In the first sentence, a number of keys are missing. The individual keys themselves are the concern, so we use a plural verb. In the second sentence, a set of keys is on the ground. The entire keys as a whole are the main idea, so we use a singular verb. Remember the concept of collective idea from earlier. This applies to plural nouns too. Plural nouns that form a singular idea are treated as a singular entity and require a singular verb. Let's take a look at this sentence. 500 words is long enough for the paper. Here, the plural noun, 500 words, is treated as a collective idea, so the singular verb is used. The third concept with plural nouns is known as collective noun. Collective nouns name a group of nouns that are composed of members, but they don't specify gender. Collective nouns can have either a singular or plural verb depending on how the nouns are being used. If the members are acting as a group, they are treated as a singular entity and require a singular verb. However, when the members of the group are acting as individuals, then the plural of the verb is used. Let's take a look at two sentences. In the first example, we have the team practices for the game. Here, the collective noun team is acting as a singular group, and so we use the singular verb practices. In the second sentence, we have the team shower and change out of their uniforms. The same collective noun team is used, but the members are not acting collectively, or we hope so, but rather as individuals, and so the plural tense of shower and change are used. Now we will begin talking about some additional concepts with subject-verb agreement. For example, each. Each is always singular and requires a singular verb, even when its antecedent is plural. Let's take a look at these sentences. Here we have, each of the students is responsible for turning in their work. Although students is plural, we're talking about the singular each, and so the singular verb is used. In this next sentence we have, the three sides are unhappy with their agreement and each has offered a few suggestions. Here, once each has been invoked in the sentence, a singular verb has was used, even though its antecedent with the three sides is plural. Another subject-verb agreement concept is using there is and there are. When using there is and there are, the verb agrees with the anticipated subject. Let's look at an example. First we have, there is a dog at the party. Here we have the singular verb is used because it's modifying only one dog. We also have, there are some dogs at the party. Here we have the plural verb are because it's modifying some dogs at the party, which are plural. The final concept we are covering is known as inverted word ordering. Here, even though the verb comes before the subject still decides the number of the verb. Let's look at these two examples. We have, in the house is a dog versus in the house are many dogs. Here the verbs is and are must agree with the number of subjects that come after it. Even though there are many more exceptions to subject-verb agreement, these we feel were the most pertinent. Thank you guys for watching.